Hello world, my name is Mark Palaciano, and this is the first video that I've ever made to share on social media with strangers. It feels pretty weird because I'm not the type of person that shares a lot about myself on social media, but I need to get comfortable with it as I enter this next chapter in my life because I'm betting on myself by jumping into independent journalism, or being a truth teller as some of us free thinkers like to call it. So here we are, my first video and my first big hurdle to clear. I'm sure it's going to be one of my worst videos, but the content is what really matters, and I'll be making a lot more videos, so there's plenty of time to get better at video production. I'm currently a one-man band running the entire show, and I've got a lot to learn, like fixing the horrible glare on my glasses, better lighting, and how to make videos you'll appreciate. For those that don't know, on August 24th, T-Mobile announced they were going to lay off 5,000 people over the next month. I was notified about my layoff on August 31st, but I'm on the payroll until November 3rd. So technically, I'm still a T-Mobile employee today. November 2nd is my 17-year anniversary at T-Mobile. What are the odds of my last day being employed being my 17-year anniversary? When I look up the significance of the number 17, it's all about new beginnings, being on the right path, success and good fortune, and being grateful. I believe in signs from the universe. I'm supposed to be right here doing exactly what I'm doing. It's a really weird feeling and I don't know how to explain it. The second week after being laid off, I met with a lawyer to review the severance document. I had a feeling some of the verbiage within the document would hinder me from talking about my experience in corporate America, and he confirmed I was right. In order to take the six-figure severance I'm owed after 17 years of employment at T-Mobile, I have to sign away my right to free speech about the last 17 years of working at T-Mobile. For 99.9% of the people, that's no big deal. Sign the severance, take the money, go find another company to work for, and move on. But signing away my free speech is a big deal because the next chapter in my life relies on me being able to talk about my life experiences. I may as well tell you my secret that I was holding on to until November 2nd.
I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving.
I'm not signing that severance document. I can't sign that severance document. It could actually cost me money and a lot of legal headaches down the road. Technically, I'm already in breach of contract hundreds of times with what I've been saying about T-Mobile. I'm willing to bet the lawyers at T-Mobile and McKinsey & Company are waiting for me to take the money just so they can unleash an onslaught of breaches at me. I include McKinsey in my statement because T-Mobile has been using them for consultation, and my guess is McKinsey is helping T-Mobile navigate this layoff nonsense. The verbiage in the severance document allows T-Mobile to find me in breach of contract if I ever say anything they deem as derogatory, and it's up to their discretion. I completely understand protecting company secrets, but blocking me from talking about my life is crossing the line in my opinion. I wouldn't be able to tell you how T-Mobile violated my rights by discriminating against me for being unvaccinated, and how they blocked me from going into the office in Frisco, Texas for 10 months. They pretended like they actually cared about me, while they isolated me like a rabid animal. They didn't even let me attend events outside of the office, like the 2021 Christmas party at the Stonebriar Country Club that required a magenta pass and a QR barcode to get inside. And the magenta pass was provided to you after you submitted your vaccine card to a third-party company. I'm a people person. I thrive off interacting with people. In all honesty, they broke me for a while, and I had to learn how to fix me while being isolated from people. I'm good now, but that's because I'm finally able to be me. I felt like I was in a mental prison working at T-Mobile after 2020. From September 2021 to July 2022, T-Mobile treated me like a second-class citizen for being unvaccinated. I posted my exemption form that I submitted from September 2021 to my X account, so you can see what I said 2 years ago. I offered to take a daily test. I knew I wasn't at risk, and I knew I wasn't causing anyone else to be at risk. July of 2022 was when T-Mobile finally allowed me back into the office in Frisco, Texas, and they ended up removing the vaccine mandate completely in March of 2023. By ending the mandate, they proved me right. As an unvaccinated person, I didn't need a vaccine or a mask to live my life indoors. I'm not an expert. I'm not even that smart of a person. I just used data and analytics combined with deductive reasoning to determine I didn't need a vaccine and this was a flu-like disease. I was even on the business continuity team during COVID. I helped T-Mobile senior leadership create dashboards to monitor employee exposures, local level exposures from the CDC, store closures, vaccine take rates, and the list goes on. I know way too much about COVID because of that job, but it helped me make educated decisions that I'm proud of today. Their reasoning for pulling back on the vaccine mandate was because we entered a new phase of the pandemic where cases, serious illness, and death rates had declined dramatically. And they still to this day have not admitted any mistakes were made with the way they treated me. The CEO, Mike Sievert, and the EVP of Human Resources, Deanne King, still believe it was the best way to keep employees safe, and they strongly encourage all employees and their families to get vaccinated and boosted. I know most people don't care about COVID or the vaccine anymore, and I totally get why you feel that way. And there's also a lot of people that regret getting the vaccine and would like to move on from that mistake. But what most people don't understand is that they're now making another mistake by moving on without accountability for being coerced into that mistake in the first place. I'm not going to stop fighting until people admit what they did was wrong. The way T-Mobile treated me was inhumane, disrespectful, and technically violated Nuremberg Code. They forced me to learn my American and Texas rights. So now I'm going to use my right of free speech to call them out over and over and over again until they admit they were wrong or I influence a sharp decline in their brand appearance and or stock valuation. I could go on and on about this topic, but that's not the point of this video. I'll be making a lot more videos, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about T-Mobile and their corporate tyranny. But before we move on, fun fact. Did you know that in 2001, a bunch of US senators pushed back on T-Mobile Deutsche Telekom buying VoiceStream Wireless? Because the German government owned 58% of T-Mobile Deutsche Telekom, and those senators believed a foreign government shouldn't own a large telecommunications company in America? Well, guess what? Those senators were right because the German government is now heavily influencing T-Mobile US. The German government was forced to sell ownership to get the VoiceStream deal to go through, but they've slowly bought back in over the years and now own 30%. But let's be real, the German government is still connected at the hip with Deutsche Telekom regardless of it only being 30%. In the near future, I'm going to show you how T-Mobile is partnering with the World Economic Forum to usher in the Great Reset and Fourth Industrial Revolution powered by artificial intelligence. I know, juicy, huh? All right. Now let's move on and talk a little bit about me and a few hot topics in today's society. First, I want you to know I'm an open book. I'm 100% transparent. I'm not here to be a grifter or try to manipulate people. I'm focused on the truth and the future of America. It's that simple. I'm a dumb, smart nerd turning 40 years old in December. I'm born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I love playing golf, shooting guns, and nerding out on all things Tesla. I do not identify with a political party. I personally lost all faith in any politician working to make my life better. To me, politicians on both sides are on the same team, and that's the team of making themselves wealthier and more powerful. I know that's a cynical view, but that's how I feel after watching corporate America and the government turn on me since 2020. The 2019 version of me would call the 2023 version of me a nutjob conspiracy theorist who needs to lay off the internet. I already know a lot of you are thinking that, and it's fine. At this point, it is what it is. I'm confident in my ability to assess topics with a balanced, open-minded approach, and I'm open to others' viewpoints and respect the fact that we'll all be different with different beliefs. Now let's get into some of the fun, polarizing topics in America today. My goal is to provide just a quick snapshot on where I stand on a few of these topics in today's society. I'm cool with people being gay, and I don't care if adults go trans. The way I see it, people can choose to live their lives however they want, because I also expect to live my life how I want. I know this is a polarizing topic, so let me unpack it a little bit. Adults can do whatever they want when it comes to gay and trans. Children should not be allowed to do whatever they want when it comes to gender affirmation. I don't believe in allowing children to medically or surgically affirm their gender. Once you turn 18, have at it. But I still think you should wait until your mid-20s to understand who you really are. Personally, I know I was a different person in my early 20s than I am today. Drag shows for kids? Yeah, that feels really weird to me. Drag shows for adults? Have fun. Men going trans to a woman and then playing in women's sports? Yeah, I'm not cool with that either. We'll talk more about this stuff in the future because I'm going to show you why the T in T-Mobile stands for trans and why you should call them transmobile. Religion. This is another topic most people stay away from, but I want to take it head on and share my beliefs. I believe in God, but I'm not sure how to explain it to you. I personally don't identify with the religion, but I see a lot of value in religion, so please know I don't judge anyone for whatever religion you are. The past 3 years have woken me up to not wanting to identify with any label. It all feels like tribalism to me. I'm not saying religion is tribalism, I'm just saying that's how I feel about labels these days. I'm not here to preach to you or to get you to see things the way I see things. I hope you can appreciate me for who I am and what I believe in. And if you don't, it's cool with me too. Gun rights. In 2019, I would have told you nobody needed an AR-15, and I wasn't into guns whatsoever, which is pretty funny for a Texas boy, huh? But now I have my license to carry, I own multiple guns, including a few ARs, and I completely understand why the Second Amendment was created to protect the people from a tyrannical government. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on my tyrannical government statement, but I'd ask those people to refer back to earlier where I explained how T-Mobile was able to violate my rights while also being protected by the government and escaping all accountability. Does America have a mass shooting problem? Yes. But are guns the issue? No. A gun is simply a tool that requires someone to manually utilize it. To me, the biggest issue nobody talks about is social engineering. Social engineering is a powerful tool that I'm going to talk about a lot in my content. Social engineering is the system manufacturing and designing thoughts and reactions from people in society. Let me show you what I mean. Only a sick-minded person does a mass shooting. But that same sick-minded person also saw the last sick-minded person go viral from doing a mass shooting. So every mass shooting is really engineering the next mass shooting. We shouldn't know the shooters' names. We shouldn't know what they look like. They shouldn't go viral. But the big reason all of that happens is because the powers to be want society bickering at each other about gun rights over and over. It's a never-ending cycle by design in order to support the lifelong politicians campaigning every 2 years during election season. I know there's a lot more topics we could discuss, but I'm sure those will come up later as I continue to be an independent journalist or truth teller, whatever you want to call it. Now, let me talk a little bit how I've been running my mouth on X, acting like a keyboard warrior. It's time that I start saying that stuff on video. I've been trolling T-Mobile, Mike Sievert, the current T-Mobile CEO, and John Legere, the CEO prior to the merger, for over a month now. I wanted to be sure all of them knew my name and who I was. All of them lied to me and America about the T-Mobile merger. They promised in front of Congress to lower prices and add jobs. Those were both lies. They've now raised the prices of rate plans, have completed multiple layoffs since the merger went live in April 2020, and just last week, they told customers on certain plans that they were going to automatically change their plan to a more expensive plan if they didn't call into customer service and opt out. And to make it even better, Mike Sievert launched Price Lock last year, which was him promising to never raise the price on you. It's sad how easy it is for Mike Sievert to lie to America. But now it makes sense why CNN named him the CEO of the year for 2022, because liars support liars. T-Mobile and the parent company Deutsche Telekom are not who you think they are. You should think about T-Mobile US being the German government and the World Economic Forum, because that's exactly who they are. As I said earlier, I'm cool with gay and trans, but T-Mobile is on a whole different level. There's a big difference between being cool with gay and trans versus shoving it down society's throat and forcing people to believe in it. T-Mobile doesn't care about gay or trans people. They simply want to use the agenda to divide people. Why would a company pay $25,000 for gender reassignments, but only $12,000 for in vitro fertilization? I guess T-Mobile thinks gender assignments are twice as cool? I'm not a fan of war. I'll never be a fan of war. I don't support war. It blows my mind that humanity is still at war with each other. But I've now also learned that war is designed to keep the average person distracted with nonsense while all the people at the top profit from the war. On November 2nd, I'm going to show you how John Legere, the old T-Mobile CEO, partnered with two American DJs, Steve Aoki and Blau, to run an NFT hustle that made all of them millions of dollars. And if you haven't heard, 95% of all NFTs are now completely worthless. It's pretty convenient that a lot of rich people made a lot of money while a lot of middle class people lost a lot of money. Also on November 2nd, I'm going to kick off a GoFundMe to raise money for the severance money that I turned down. Look, I know nobody owes me anything for the actions that I've taken on my own accord. But I also know a lot of people are sick and tired of the tyranny and censorship from corporate America. And I believe a lot of people will support me in showing corporate America that we're tired of it. Most people don't even know that in December 2021, T-Mobile was censoring text messages. They blocked customers from sharing links related to vaccine efficacy from the Gateway pundit. T-Mobile blamed it on a content filter, but in my opinion, that was a convenient cover-up, especially since Twitter and Facebook were censoring the same information at the same time. Pretty much every statement that I've made about T-Mobile in this video and on my X account would find me in breach of contract. I know some people are going to flame me for making a GoFundMe, and I totally get it. But like I told you earlier, I'm completely transparent, and being upfront about my actions is important to me. There's so much more for me to talk about, but we'll get into that as we continue down this journey. All right, full disclosure, I have no idea how I'm going to make money in this venture, but I know I'm supposed to be doing this, and I'm supposed to trust that it'll work out. My plan was to start with getting advertising money on X, but I've now realized calling out corporate America for their nonsense probably won't work out well for my social credit score on X that pays the advertising money. I didn't really think that one through well enough, but I believe people will support me once they hear what I have to say. I grew up in corporate America and was just kicked out, and before I got kicked out, they violated my rights. I know my story is one that people need to hear more about, and like I said earlier, it was also influenced by the German government. I'll be writing threads on X, trying to gain more followers by replying to accounts, producing more videos, making info memes, and trying to figure out how to make money. I have a lot to learn there, but I'm betting on more people in society wanting to hear truthful news that isn't pushing a political agenda. And I feel confident in my ability to provide truthful, unbiased news. I'll use my experience at T-Mobile for the last 17 years to show you how corporate America turned on the American people. There's already a lot of great news sources and people reporting on diversity, equity, and inclusion, known as DE&I, and environmental social governance, known as ESG, but I want to show you how DE&I and ESG impacted my career. I'm passionate about exposing the Great Reset and the World Economic Forum. It's okay if you don't know what either one of those are, but you need to know because they're both influencing you and your children's future way more than any politician in America is. Seriously. I'll talk a lot about social engineering. One of society's diseases right now is reacting to every news source at face value. Refer to the latest swirl with Israel and Palestine, which completely removed Ukraine from the news cycle. Social engineering is a horrible disease that's captured most of America, and it's time more people wake up to what's really going on. Think of social engineering as being psychological warfare or brainwashing. There's a great Netflix documentary called Social Dilemma that does an awesome job at introducing you to social engineering. Please know, I won't pretend to have all the answers. I can admit when I'm wrong, and I'm not here to tell you that you have to think the way I think. I know that I'll share information that's valuable to a lot of people, but it's your choice to see the value in what I'm sharing. In closing, I'd really appreciate your support if anything I shared resonates with you. My X and Instagram account are Mark_Palaciano. I'm pretty easy to find because as far as I know, I'm the only Mark Palaciano in the United States. I genuinely care about you and America's future, and I've learned a lot about how the world works over the last 3 years. My next video will be on November 2nd, and I'll start posting videos more regularly after that. Thank you for listening to me, and please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any feedback, suggestions, or questions for me. Being that this is my first video, I'd like to end it by saying thank you to the people that were there for me over the last few years. You all know who you are. I appreciate you for putting up with me while T-Mobile turned on me and violated my rights as a human being. Thank you for supporting me.